Developing this morning, investigators are still hunting for clues to find out whoever is behind the Boston Marathon bombing.
There's a lot of information out there, so here's what we know so far this morning. FBI agents say the bombs were very basic. We are talking nails and BBs packed into pressure cookers, and they were put inside simple nylon backpacks and then dumped into garbage cans. A total of 3 people are dead this morning. Now more than 170 are hurt. And tomorrow, President Obama is going to head to Boston for a prayer service with a number of other leaders from Boston and from all around the country. Now, for the very latest on these Boston bombings, we head live to CBS's Susan McGinnis, who is in Boston for the 2nd day in a row. Good morning once again, Susan.
Well, the FBI, working from a couple of thousand leads, says the range of suspects in this terror case remains wide open, and investigators are finding out more about how these explosions were carried out. FBI photos show remnants of what they believe is a pressure cooker used as a bomb casing in the Boston Marathon explosions. When used as a bomb, pressure cookers briefly contain the explosion, magnifying the power of the device.
There has been some debris recovered from some of the rooftops nearby, as well as some of the debris has been embedded in some of the buildings nearby. So that gives you just a kind of a scope of the power of the blast.
Authorities say the bomber also filled the pot with BBs and nails in order to injure as many people as possible. It worked. The shrapnel tore through limbs, forcing doctors to perform several amputations.
Almost all of them had such severe trauma in their lower extremity that was beyond salvation. We just completed what the bomb had done.
While the investigation continues, dozens of the injured remain hospitalized, and those killed are being honored. About 1,000 people gathered in Dorchester, Massachusetts to remember 8-year-old Martin Richard. He was the youngest victim.
I have an 8-year-old son myself who was out there that day right before it happened, and I sympathize for the parents that are going through such a situation.
29-year-old Crystal Campbell was also killed. Her mother is still in shock.
I couldn't ask for a better daughter. I can't believe this has happened.
The third person killed was a Boston University grad student. President Obama arrives here tomorrow morning. He'll speak at a service for the victims of this terror attack. Meanwhile, marathon organizers say the Boston Marathon will go on next year. In Boston, Susan McGinnis, back to you.
All right, thank you once again, Susan. And investigators, again, they're pleading with the public for any videos or photos that might show whoever was carrying the bombs in what they think are going to be heavy backpacks, then putting them in the garbage cans. Well, some of the dozens of runners who are from here in New Mexico who are in Boston for the marathon are finally waking up back at home this morning.
But you know what? The horror of the ordeal is still fresh in their minds.
We just were watching the gurneys one after another coming out and being loaded into the ambulance.
Michael Dobish of Santa Fe had already finished the race well before the explosions. He was back in his hotel room when the bombs went off, but his daughter Kelsey, who was down on the street waiting for her uncle to finish the race, says she is still badly shaken.
I just feel so bad for like the victims and the runners and just everybody, because this should have never happened.
Now, no one in the Dobish family was hurt. In fact, there are no reports of any injuries among the 80 New Mexicans who ran the marathon this year. We, of course, are continuing to follow the latest developments in the terror in Boston. You can find continuing coverage both on air and online on KRQE.com.
In some other news this morning, the woman who police say was drunk led them on a dangerous chase, then crashed her car with 3 kids in it. She'll be in court a little bit later today. Officers say Prune Spencer almost hit them here near Copper in Louisiana Southeast about 3 yesterday afternoon. They say she refused to stop, then crashed into a curb, a wall, and a dumpster. Plus, neighbors say Spencer almost hit a group of kids who were playing outside.
That my daughter was outside riding her bike. You know, there's a lot of kids out here. She could have hit somebody and really hurt somebody real bad.
Police say Spencer had 3 kids, 3, 4, and 7 years old inside the car. One went to the hospital to get checked out. Spencer's still in jail facing 3 counts of child abuse this morning. The Albuquerque police are now looking for a guy they think shot his own girlfriend early yesterday afternoon. This happened about 12:30 on Walter Street. It's near Mountain Northeast. The woman got shot in the stomach. She went through surgery and we're told she should survive. Police say her boyfriend took off in a gold Ford Taurus.
A gas station clerk takes a shot at a tip jar thief, but guess what? The clerk and the suspect are now both facing charges. Investigators say 25-year-old Robert Sanchez grabbed the jar from the Ram gas station over off of San Mateo near Constitution yesterday. And as he ran to his car, officers say the clerk, Anthony Lee, fired a shot at Sanchez but missed. A deputy director for the livestock board saw the suspect driving off. He turned on his emergency lights, pulled him over, and arrested Sanchez for misdemeanor larceny. The clerk, on the other hand, is facing a felony.
The bullet that exits that weapon has to land somewhere, so it puts the entire public at risk.
Police say the suspect was not posing a threat to anyone. Lee, the clerk, is now charged with aggravated assault. A man connected to a string of armed robberies throughout the metro area has copped a plea. 40-year-old Alfonso Lizine pleaded guilty in federal court Tuesday, admitting to robbing 4 Albuquerque businesses in 2011 and 2012. 3 of those robberies were at Family Dollar stores. The suspect was arrested in March of last year, and as part of the plea deal, he will now be sentenced to 15 years in prison. But we are still more than a year and a half away from going to the polls to pick New Mexico's next governor.
But already Democrats are lining up to make Susana Martinez what they hope will be one and done. Just this week, State Senator Linda Lopez here from Albuquerque, she jumped into the race, joining Attorney General Gary King, plus other state senators Tim Keller and Joe Cervantes and State Representative Bo Maestas are all thinking about running for the state's top job. And our political analyst, UNM professor Gabe Sanchez, says whoever faces Governor Martinez will have an uphill battle because she's an incumbent, she is very popular, and she can easily raise a lot of money.
And somebody that can galvanize the base. You're going to need somebody that can get out the vote, and obviously somebody who can raise money.
Governor Martinez already has $1.5 million in her political war chest, while Gary King has $250,000. Well, Heather Wilson for president?
It is not so far-fetched. The former New Mexico Congresswoman may be heading north for a top job. The South Dakota School of Mines and Technology announced yesterday Wilson is one of the 4 finalists for president of the school. Heather Wilson posted on her Facebook page she is honored to be considered and is looking forward to meeting with the Regents, faculty, and students in Rapid City. Last November, Wilson lost her bid for the U.S. Senate.
All right, best of luck to her. She gets the job.